Thanks for joining us at 5 o'clock. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. A court here in Colorado ruled the Trump administration withholding bond hearings is illegal, a practice we've seen play out now in immigration courts. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall has more on the decision that actually could impact, what, Angelina, more than 100,000 people?
Yeah, it would have a significant impact. A federal judge here ruled that it's unlawful that the Trump administration is flat out denying bond hearings to immigrants who crossed the border without permission, even though the law has been in place for more than 3 decades. At the Aurora detention facility, some detainees haven't been given a bond hearing.
So that's the legal issue that we've been fighting.
Immigration attorney Hans Meyer and the ACLU filed a lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's interpretation of the law that immigrants who enter the country without permission are not entitled to a bond hearing.
This has been a reinterpretation by ICE after 30 years of agreeing that the law says one thing. All of a sudden, overnight, ICE shifted its position and said something completely different.
In a decision this month, a federal judge ruled in their favor that bond hearings should be granted.
They're at least entitled to a bond hearing. Some people deserve to get out, some people may not, but everybody has a right to a bond hearing.
It will mean some people will not be detained for months, if not years, waiting out their case in detention.
And so in the last week, we've seen the federal courts agree with us here in Colorado in 5 decisions in 6 business days. Which is a pretty monumental set of decisions. That is a clean sweep, to be blunt, about what the statute actually says.
It's a first step in a legal battle that Meyer says mainly impacts people who have been here for decades.
This case isn't about immigrants. This case is about the government misinterpreting and the law and then trying to keep hundreds of thousands of people in mandatory detention as a result.
There's another court date next month to determine how many people could be eligible as part of this class action lawsuit and who would fall into that class specifically. In the studio, Angela McCall, 9 News.
All right, thank you, Angeline.
Ski season is picking up. Arapahoe Basin is now the 2nd ski area in North America to open after Keystone got one up on them yesterday afternoon. That's a nice sound, eh? Basin's first chair of the season started turning at 8:20 this morning with a party, of course, at the base area celebrating opening day. People cooked food in the lift line and hundreds turned out to make their first turns of the season on October 26th. And they did it earlier than last year when the Basin didn't open until early November.
Hey, we had a good year, I mean, we've opened earlier before, but this has been really good. We had a couple of great cold snaps that we took advantage of with our snowmaking, so it's a good start.
The Basin has mid-mountain to the base open for skiing and riding. A few inches of fresh powder could fall there tonight into early Monday morning.
Kathy, this is not good skiing.
Well,
but it's skiing, and like all the announcers for the Broncos game are like, it's skiing. It's great for publicity, right?
Yeah, you guys, if you're a hardcore skier, any day on the slope is a good day of skiing. But like Kim, I was noticing all of the rocks and trees and shrubs and dirt around, and yeah, it's like, come on, Mother Nature, let's lend them a helping hand. And she's sort of gonna do that, sort of. All right, outside we have a mostly cloudy but really nice day in Denver. Looking live up at the Johnson-Eisenhower Tunnel, light dusting of snow over higher peaks, and we have those cloudy skies but calm conditions here in the city. We are tracking a weak storm headed into northern Colorado. Ahead of it, temperatures seasonal or slightly above, upper 60s generally along the Front Range and low 60s in the mountains. The wind thankfully has not been a big feature today, but it's not entirely calm out there. This is the system that's approaching from the northwest. The jet is going to carry most of the precip and energy away from us, but we'll tap into just enough to make it interesting. I'm sorry I don't have much to show you on the radar yet tonight, but I do think that will be changing overnight tonight into the day tomorrow. Again, there is that potential for a little bit of northern and central mountain snow. I think for Denver, we'll be hard pressed to see any moisture with this system cruising by. I think what you're going to notice tomorrow is probably the wind, and that's going to take a lot of that moisture out of the atmosphere. So mid 60s now. We drop 10 degrees by about 10 o'clock tonight. Weather headlines. Yep, we've got a storm bringing northern mountain snow. Not a lot, but some. We're going to talk about that Metro Monday cool down and look ahead to a Halloween forecast that doesn't look scary at all.
Thanks, Kathy. Denver police arrested a person accused in a deadly hit and run early this morning. Police say it happened at 16th and Market Street in downtown. That area in downtown, of course, known to have a lot of foot traffic. Officers say 27-year-old Milton McBride was taken into custody today on suspicion of vehicular homicide.
Colorado's Department of Revenue says a text scam is targeting people here in the state. DOR says scammers will send messages asking for people's banking information so they can receive their tax refund. That's the scam. But the texts are also mentioning there will be consequences for not responding by a set deadline. DOR is asking Coloradans to ignore the messages and avoid clicking any links. The department says it will never send these kind of messages. At least 9 other states have previously reported the scam.
A heads up for drivers who use I-225 in Aurora. Construction will shut down part of the highway starting tonight. CDOT says northbound I-225 at 6th Avenue will be closed starting at 9. It'll open up again at 5 a.m. Monday. CDOT is warning drivers there could be delays. Crews are working to improve 2 I-225 bridges over 6th and 2nd Avenues. Work includes putting down asphalt on the bridge's surface to even out the pavement. Later in the week, there's also going to be overnight double lane closures on north and southbound I-225.
Looking ahead, Denver City Council will hold a public hearing on Mayor Johnston's proposed 2026 spending plan tomorrow night. Last week, the mayor returned his budget proposal to council for a second look. He added $4 million in funding to address several council priorities like rental assistance and immigrant legal services. That brings the city proposed spending plan to about $1.6 billion. The additional funding came from the interest earned on the city's remaining American Rescue Plan Act funds. Council will host public comments starting at 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Sean Payton and the Broncos are starting off fast. They started off fast and kept building on their momentum from last week today in the game against the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Broncos got off to, as Kim just said, a fast start, which is unique for them this season, at least,
yes,
scoring a pair of first quarter touchdowns. It's the fourth quarter right now, and the Broncos currently up still 37-17.
Yeah. All right, the fans who did make it to the game likely paid a pretty price for that ticket. Ticketing company SeatGeek says demand is high for the Broncos matchup with the Cowboys. I think it's always that way. The average resale ticket price for today's game was nearly $600. That's a 59% increase from the regular season average for a home game so far. SeatGeek says this is the most in-demand Broncos home game in the company's history. The majority of ticket sales on SeatGeek are from fans coming from Texas. So if you sold your tickets to a Texas person.
We should put it in that monitor. That would be fun
Yeah,
to watch,
it'd be
wouldn't
nice.
it?
Then we just look over our shoulder.
That's right.
Say, oh, nothing. I think they're going to, no. They're going to score again. Okay. Today, a pair of lifelong friends reunited to watch Bo and the gang take on the Cowboys.
Great story. Mark Pumphrey and Jim Strain may be living in different places now, but they managed to keep their decades-long friendship alive through the Broncos.
From week to week, our value as human beings rises or falls depending on the outcome of the game.
He sent me a text after the game last week and said, our value as human beings is skyrocketing. And he was right.
Coming up tonight at 9 and 10, our Shalima Maharaj sits down with both men, learning more about the orange and blue, how that orange and blue has fueled their friendship, as we said, for decades.